Hello everybody, it's Calxiyn here, and today, if you enjoyed this video, remember that you guys should check out our Discord server and check out our Patreon for us. Somebody got butthurt in my Catherine video and told me to die because I advertised my Patreon at the beginning.
Told you to die?
Yeah. And
Jesus.
I was just like, do you tell that when they play ads in the movie theater? Are you just like, fucking Coca-Cola, die? Anyways, so I just wanted to mention that, because
I'm gonna go to your house, Steven Soderbergh, and shit in your shoe.
Exactly. So I wanted to talk about I just wanted to bring that up because we're gonna be talking about death a lot this week. But speaking of death,
And personal death threats, or just in general?
just in general. This has something to do with death, but not really. So basically, I have a theory that I was kicking around last night when I was talking in the Murder of Birds Patreon only Discord server. Anyways, so
Jesus, okay, they can be upset for you plugging someone else's shit in
That's
your video.
fine. But I'm not trying to plug them. I'm just trying to say that's where I got the idea. So I was thinking that the relic isn't an object. The relic is a person, and they are chained in the basement of Haven.
That's fucked up.
Okay, so basically what kind of, I don't want to say what confirmed this idea for me.
Your fever dreams?
Was because, did you see that, like, statue of that woman with the chains around her, and the chains were broken and whatever, like that pretty statue thingy? So basically my idea is that the relics aren't objects. They're people like the maidens, but they are eternal beings instead. And so the reason why Ozpin has made a lot of mistakes is because he thought that the best thing to do with the relics was to hide them at the bottom of the schools and basically keep them there forever. And so that would make Ozpin a very bad person. But yeah, the statue basically gave me the idea that the relics are actually personifications of people, and basically these people, because they are made by the gods, not that they have the capacity for good and evil, because that's humans, but they won't choose good and evil. They will stay in a balanced middle ground, and so that means they will help people that are both good and evil, and that is why they would have to be locked up, because we kind of get the implication that, yes, the maidens can choose the path to get out the relics, but then kind of what happens there. Sort of like an oracle. Like, oracles don't really pick favorites. I should know from personal experience.
The fuck are you talking about? I was just kidding,
because I thought you would say that.
You
Cal, because you
so
have lots
confident. You sounded so confident.
I thought you were gonna say that because, like, usually if I say something like that, because you'll be like, "Oh, Cal, because you have so much experience with werewolves." Like, you know, that's one of your lines. That's something you do all the time.
Okay,
I wasn't even say it.
No, I don't. It's not that I knowingly do that. It's just
you
that
do
you
all the time.
It's just that I don't mean to. It's just that you constantly spout bullshit, and I think it's necessary to call you out for it.
Anyway, can I continue?
Go ahead.
So basically, I think that they're kind of almost like personified oracles, or I don't want to even say deities, but something like that. Something that will, like, for the knowledge one, the knowledge personification will answer basically any of your questions, whether you use them for good and evil or something like that. Just, that's an example. I don't know if that's the relic does, but the relic gives knowledge, right? And so that would be something that they'd probably do. And maybe that the relics being loose were a bad thing before because there was that good and evil thing that I'm talking about before. And so that just kind of begs the question, well, why would you need the maidens to do that? And I think that, like, to protect the relics and whatever. And I think in Ozpin's eyes, all of his maidens were gonna be good. And so, like, the relics would never be used for evil because they aren't, I don't want to say they aren't really people, but in my mind, how I have made this up is that they're not really people. They are more like, ask and you shall get your answer. Like, they're just, you know what I mean? Like, they look like people, but they're more like a magical creature, if that makes sense. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about if you've, the only example I can think of is a really bad one, so I'm not going to use it. But almost like if you opened a book and then the book was taught, or a magic mirror. That was actually the perfect example for a magic mirror in Snow White anyway.
So sentient and intelligent, but not human.
Yeah, sentient, intelligent, not human, and so they don't choose between good and evil. They just stay in the middle.
Chill.
They stay out of it, basically. Like, a good example, the magic mirror from Snow White, at least how it's been depicted by Disney ever since the first one, will answer a question for anyone. It doesn't matter what they're trying to do, they'll just answer it.
Or general quality of question.
Yeah, or general quality, whether you're good and evil, it doesn't only obey the queen. It's more like the queen has this magical relic, and she uses it for herself, right? And so that's what I see the people relics as, and I think that's why there is that statue in the main hall, because that is the knowledge of Mistral, right? Because you know how schools have creeds sometimes? Like ours was Harmony, Charity. That's all I remember. There was a Knowledge, Harmony, and Charity, I think.
I'm sure my grade school had one as well, however, it has not stuck with me.
That was our high school's one.
Oh, fuck, really? Alright.
I think so. It was Knowledge, maybe it was Wisdom, Charity, and Harmony?
Get paid,
Harmony
get
was
laid,
in there.
Gatorade.
Okay.
One for
and
the
so
money, two for the show.
Every academy can embody something, right? And so if this is a knowledge relic, their thing could be like Latin thing, because ours was in Latin. It could be like knowledge is the true power or whatever, and that kind of maiden in the front of the front of the school, or that statue or whatever, could be supposed to represent knowledge, but then everyone else doesn't know that that's an actual depiction of the knowledge relic in the basement, that it is an actual, because like the statue is in the credits more than anything else, more than the thing of the room, and there's a lot of like details on it, and so that kind of what made me think this even more so, just because you see the chain swaying. It's almost like someone is in there watching what's going on, it's kind of scary. I don't know if this is a great example, but when I was a kid, I used to watch Spider Riders.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And in Spider Riders, they basically have a Spider World goddess or whatever, and you can basically, like, nobody ever sees them or anything. It's just kind of, something that happens every once in a while, and I think that in the show you could at least, if you had, like, certain statues and stuff, you could communicate with her and, like, see her, and, like, she'd talk to you back, but she wasn't interfering in the world, because there was this battle for good and evil, right? She was just chilling.
I am beyond that.
Yeah, kind of, and so I kind of see that as how...
out in your own time.
Yeah, and so I kind of see that as how the maidens are, or the relics are, and then the maidens weren't directly connected to the relics, but Ozpin made it so only a maiden could unlock the vault doors, if that makes sense, right? And so it's not that the maidens were necessarily made with the relics, and we know that, we don't know, but it doesn't seem like they were, because the gods made the relics, right? They didn't make the maidens, the wizard did that, and so I feel like it's less of them being directly connected, and more of them only being connected because Ozpin said so, basically. Because Ozpin was just like, okay, I need something to protect the relics, I guess I'll give these people with magical powers who are good-hearted magic, and then he realized that not everyone is good, and so he would just have to hide the relics away, because even his own maidens can't protect the relics, and of course the relics are actual people. So what do you think about this? Because, like, I don't want to say it's a half-baked idea, but it's not a theory, it's more of an idea, if anything. Like, I feel like this just explains what they could be, because I felt like it never made sense for them to be objects, just because I think a magical object is just weird.
I think magical object is entirely...
I think it's possible, but it's kind of a cop-out.
It's not a cop-out, it's widely done in fantasy.
I know, and that's boring, you know what I mean? Like, if the relics are supposed to be this great
do we need, like, after the fucking Silver Eyes Maiden and Salem and the reincarnation of an ancient king and the 3 deity women people that have powers passed down through them? The maidens.
Okay.
Who am I referring to there?
You
like,
mean
do
4,
we need,
but okay.
4. Anyways, do we really need another group?
I mean, the relics would have to be something. And it's not like they would go out in the open. They would just stay in the basement. And I know that doesn't sound very nice, but you know what I mean. But yeah. I don't know. I really like this idea because it gives us 4 new characters to work with.
Good lord.
And they wouldn't even, I don't want to say they wouldn't even really be characters, but they would just be more interesting than an object, because they would have the same function as an object would, but they would have a character design. That's basically it. And I feel like that statue was a giant hint. Like, I feel like that may be how they would communicate, if that makes sense. That it would be statue-based or based through an object, but somebody would be in there. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
That maybe Ozpin, like, originally these were, the relics were supposed to be, like, four leaders or something.
So even if it was, so would you go for, like, maybe a talking object?
Like Lumiere?
Yeah.
Like in Beauty and the Beast?
But like more like what you mentioned earlier with Magic Mirror.
Yeah,
like,
basically, I would go for that, but
okay.
I want someone in there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just be an object, like, I don't want it to be an object that you use. I want to be, like, or a genie, or something like that. Like, you rub the lamp has the power, but there's somebody in it to give it. You know what I mean? And so, what if Ozpin, like, trapped the four people that were, like, supposed to embody the relics or whatever into objects to keep them stationary, and then hid them into the vault, you know, and just trap them in the basement. Like, that's not very nice, you know what I mean? I don't know, I really like this. It's probably not gonna happen. I just wanted to share my idea. Maybe it's stupid, but, like, if the maidens weren't originally supposed to exist, right? Like, Monty didn't have nobody had plans for them. I shouldn't say just Monty. Like, they put them in really late. And so it wouldn't surprise me if originally the group of girls idea was supposed to be the relics, and then they changed it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I could go for Magic Mirror. I don't want them to be actual, like, people chained up down there for 1,000 years. That would be a little dark, don't you think?
Yeah, no, that would be really fucked up. I don't know if I'd be totally cool with that.
So I could go for Magic Mirror is basically what I'm trying to say. Because I think that's less dark, but still dark. Because you still trapped a person in an object and then locked them in a basement. They're just not an actual person. You know? Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to do something not spoilery. I try to do that the first couple days when the episode comes out and just trying to do other stuff. And so, I hope that you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you later. Bye, guys.